So class, in the last session now we covered these topics, comments, operators, indentation was a very small thing. Okay, it is not a topic per se. Okay, so comments, operators, and conditional statements. These three topics we have already covered in the last session. Okay, now today I'm going to continue after that only. So this, okay, now next thing that we have to start is your input output in Python and then typecasting. Ashish, if you're coming from a technical background, then I guess you would be able to understand. But if not, then I would suggest you to watch the recording of previous sessions first and then continue with live classes. Okay. Next thing class that we're going to start is your input in Python. How to take input in Python, basically. We are going to start that. Okay. So see, first thing, okay, see, like let's first understand why do we need to take input in Python or any other language. Okay, see, whenever you're working on any code, so coding, like I said, like I usually said it, coding is all about playing with data. Okay, that means that whenever you're working on anything, let's say you're ordering something on Zomato, or let's say you're ordering something on Amazon, or maybe let's say you're as simple as you're searching something on Google. Okay, so in that case, what will happen? What will happen? That whatever you're giving as input to the machine, suppose let's say you're searching something on Google. So at that time, whatever input you will be giving to Google for searching. Suppose you're searching, let's say, I don't know, maybe Python course, let's say. Okay. So that Python course, this thing is basically a string data that you're giving to Google. And Google will do some processing based on the input. And whatever you're getting on the web page, okay, whatever search results you will get after pressing enter, that is the output. Okay. So input, output. Okay. So input can now input when you're giving input to the code, there can be multiple ways. One way is you're directly while coding, you're directly giving input at that time. First thing. Second thing that you can give input is from database. Suppose let's say you connect your code with some SQL database or somewhere, okay, and you're getting data like data from there. Yes, or you can get data from internet also. You can get data from some, let's say, some web page also. So there are multiple places from where you can get the data from. Okay, so that is what basically when we are working on data, okay, when we are working on input, yes, we need to understand. And I'm showing you how to take input from the person, from the user. Let's say I want to take the mathematics marks. So I will take maths is equal to input simply followed by open close parenthesis. Okay. So if I run this code, you can see it is giving me an empty like box kind of thing. Okay, angular box. Okay, and there I can press enter. Suppose I'm entering maybe let's say 21. If I press enter, you can see now what will happen. Whatever input I have given here, 91, will be stored inside the maths variable. So if I write here print maths, that will give us 91. Okay. Now there is one more thing. Suppose let's say you're taking two input at the same time. You're writing print maths, maths input. You're writing physics is equal to input, and you press enter. I will write 91. Now the first box that we can see here is for the maths input. If I press enter, now the second box that I can see here will be for the physics. Physics skill, for example, 2. Press enter. Now if I write maths, so we'll get 21. If I write physics, 92. But now notice one thing, class here. Whenever we're giving some input, so it is already storing in quotes. See, because I told you while I was covering the topic data types that there is something called as strings. Okay, now, and what are strings? Strings are basically collection of characters. Now, what are characters, class? Anyone? What do you understand by the term characters? Not necessarily alphabet. Characters basically means anything that is present on your keyboard, be it your alphabets, be it digits, be it this comma, space, backspace, enter. So all of this are basically anything that is present on your keyboard, basically. Okay. Here, 91 is basically also key, also 9 and 1 here. Okay, here 9 and 1 here, as you can see, 9 and 1 are also basically your characters. Okay, now suppose I want to work on this. Okay, I want to, let's say, I want to add the mathematics and physics marks. What will happen now? If I write maths plus physics and press enter, so you can see it will still 9192. So this process is not called as adding, this is called as concatenation. Why? Why this is called as concatenation? Because the data that we are adding is basically not present in numerical format, not present in integer format. So that is where there is something called as typecasting. There's something called as typecasting. I will be covering that in a while. Okay, but just I'm giving you an idea here. So what I will do now, typecasting basically means converting the data type of a variable to another data type. That is your typecasting. Okay, so what will happen now? Here, what I will do, suppose I am taking maths input. I will write here m is equal to int of maths. So what I am doing class? Here I am taking input. Okay, now like we saw earlier that when we were taking input, now so Python was automatically storing the data in string format because Python doesn't know what we want to do with the data, right? So yes, it is safe to say that yes, by default, input function will take string, or it won't take string. Rather, the better way to say is that whenever we are taking some input, at that time, whatever data is being inputted will get automatically stored in string format in Python by default. We're not taking string input. Rather, the data will be stored in string format. Are you getting this, everyone? Are you getting this, everyone, class? Whatever data we are getting from the user is stored in string format. Is it clear, class, till here? Okay. Taking input and storing it in string format. Regardless of whatever you give, no matter what you give, it will be stored in string format always. Okay, now, depending on your usage, what you want to do, you can convert that into specific data type. Suppose I want to add, okay, to m equal to int of maths. I will see here what I'm doing. Converting or that is typecasting data type to integer form. Now here, see, I'm giving 91. Here I write type of maths, it will give us str. Type of m will give us int. So whatever input we took got stored in string format, and then we typecasted that to integer. Clear, class? That is dynamically typed language is something different. I will cover that, don't worry. When we say dynamically typed, that is something different. Is it clear, class, so far? Okay, how can we differentiate characters and string in Python? No, Rohit, there is no concept of characters in Python. Okay, if there is a single character, then that will be also stored as a string only. There is no concept of character separately in Python. Okay, now what we can do? We can do the same thing for physics also. So physics is equal to input, and then let's say p is equal to int of physics. So 92, enter. That's it. Okay, now see class. Here when I was writing maths plus physics, that was concatenation. See, this is concatenation. But if I write m plus p, it will be okay, because now m and p are present in integer format. Maths and physics class are still in string format. No, these are two different variables now. Maths is a separate variable, m is a separate variable. Okay. Wait a sec, let me just close my software now. I think I am getting some issue with that. Is it clear now? Everyone got till here? What is happening? Like how the variables are getting added? How the variables are getting stored? Chinda, I will cover, don't worry. Okay. Now let me show you one thing. See, class, whenever, let's suppose I'm taking maths as input. So what I can do now, instead of writing this two-line code, see in this two-line code, what is happening in the first line, we're taking input. Okay, and in the second line, see in the first line, we're taking input, and then whatever input we are taking, that input is getting stored as string format in Python. So as to do some mathematical processing on that input, we need to convert that input into integer format. So in the second line, m is equal to int math. In the second line, they are storing that in, they are typecasting that into integer format and storing that in the m variable. So in the maths variable, in the first line, maths is a string. In the second line, m is an integer. See, RHS mein we are taking the maths data present in the maths variable, converting that into integer, and then storing the output into m variable. Shravanti, I am taking the input from the user now. If I run this code, see here I am taking the user input. I am able to enter the input from my end. That is the purpose of input function. Okay, now what we can do, class? Instead of writing these two, let's see, right now we are creating two variables, maths and m. What I can do, I can create a single variable also. Maths is equal to int and then input directly. So whatever input we will take from the user now will go. There is no need. See, if you don't need the string data, there is no need to store the string data into the variable. So here in this last cell, what I am doing, I am taking the input from the user, converting the input into integer format, and then storing the output, storing the data in the maths variable. So whatever input I am getting is getting stored as integer the maths variable. I hope all of you got this. Imran, then it will throw error. That will throw error. See here, if I enter 85, it will work fine. But if I do the same thing and I press, let's say, hi, in that case, you can just give it a minute. You can see it is throwing an error, value error. Okay, invalid literal for int with base 10 because it is not able to convert hi to integer. There are ways, okay, which we can using which we can solve this. I will cover it later on. There is something called as exception handling. So there we can basically control this. Okay. Now one more thing that is present in input now. See, when you're taking multiple inputs, like here, we were taking multiple inputs into the same line. Let me show you this again. And let's I think also. Okay, so suppose I enter 85 and then 91. Okay, so here you can see plus maths is basically present in integer format now. Okay, because you have typecasted and stored, and similarly physics also. Right. Okay, but now there is one problem. Suppose if I run this code, so here I am not able to understand that which input I am asking, which input the user is asking. So what you can do, you can give some instructions here. Okay, inside the input function, inside the input function in the parenthesis, you can give some instructions. Let's suppose I will enter here, enter maths marks like this. Totally up to you. What you want, whatever you want to enter, totally up to you. Physics marks like this. Totally up to you. Now, if I press enter, when I run the code, so you can see enter maths marks 85, physics marks 91. So inside the max variable, 85 will be stored, and inside the physics variable, 91 will be stored. Everyone got till here? Perfect. Okay. So that is about your input in Python. Okay. Now output in Python I have already shown you earlier also, that simply using print statement, output in Python. But there are some things that I need to cover here. Suppose let's say class, let's say we already have a variable maths. Now I want to show this into the output as output on the screen. So what I can do, I can write print maths like this, or I can also do one thing. I can write here string. Inside a string, I can write my maths marks is, okay, then comma, followed by maths variable. Okay, so if I run this code, you can see my maths marks is 85. So this part of the code class, this part of the code, okay, we are getting because from the this part of the code. Okay, and 85 we are getting from the maths variable. Okay, what I can do, I can print multiple things also. Suppose I write maths simply, it will print single thing, but we can print multiple things. Let's say print maths, then comma, physics, comma, hello. You can see 85, 91, hello. Automatically it will come. You can do print. Suppose let's say we are writing this. Okay. Then comma. And my physics marks is, then again comma, then physics variable. So you can see this, my maths marks is 85. This part of the code is printing my maths marks is my maths marks is. Then this 85 is coming from the maths variable. Then this part of the code, and my physics marks is printing my, and my physics marks is, and then this 91 is coming from the physics variable. Okay. Now let me show you one thing, class. Suppose let's say I'm writing here print hello. Okay, and then I write print world. So if I run this code now, you can see what will happen. These two things like hello and world will be printed in two separate lines. Okay. Okay. Now tell me one thing, everyone. I'm asking one question. Have I instructed Python anywhere in the code? Have I instructed Python anywhere in the code to print world in the next line? Have I asked Python anywhere in the code to print the world in the next line? World is getting printed in the new line, na? No, we have not given any instruction, na? No instruction is visible to you, but still it is automatically printing the world in the next line. So let's understand how this particular thing is working. Suppose, let's say if I write here, I think I have covered this earlier also, I guess in the first class, I think, but never mind. Just quickly show you. Due to multiple print statement, that is there. There is one thing called as slash n. So I think I have covered slash n, right? Earlier also. New line character. Ah, right. So suppose if I run this code, you can see it is automatically printing this like this. But here we are not giving any slash n. In this particular case, in cell number 28, we are not giving any slash n from our end. So what will happen now? Let me show you how this particular thing is working. Even if you don't give any slash n, what will happen? There is something called as argument. Basically, there is a default setting. There is default setting called as end. Okay, and the default value of end is equal to slash n. You see, output of both the codes is same. The output of last two cells is same. Okay, even if you don't give and equal to slash n, okay, even then it will take slash n by default. Okay, and equal to slash n. And equal to slash n will be taken by default always. Okay, but what you can do, you can control it, you can give it, write it something else. Suppose you want to write colon. Now see, hello colon world. So basically what Python did, it printed hello. Okay, then and equal to colon basically means how I want to end that particular line. So colon got printed and immediately after world got printed. There is no slash in here. What we can do, we can combine both of them, slash and colon. See, hello colon world. I can put something also, let something else also. Let's say maybe. See, hello maybe world. I can write here hello, comma maths, comma physics, comma and equal to maybe. See, hello 8591 maybe. Is everyone getting how and is working? END. Perfect. So that is basically majorly about your input output in Python. That is simple concept. Okay, now I'm moving on to typecasting. Typecasting, all of you make sure to like focus completely. Typecasting, I would say it's a little bit sometimes confusing how that particular thing is working. In line 27, what you explained is print function alone or print with output function. There is no function as output function, Shravanti. Print is basically used to give output in the code. For in input, we use input function. Okay, but for giving output, we use print function. There is no function called as output. Got that? Output basically means that whatever is present in the variables now in the memory, we want to print that on the screen. Input basically means that we are taking input from the real world. From the real world, okay, we are taking some data from the real world as input. So next thing that we are going to cover is class type casting. Just a minute, class. When we say taking input, we mean that what is from Python. Taking input basically means Siddharth, we're taking input from the real world. Like I am writing, see, suppose if I simply write here, if I run this code. So here I am taking input from the user now. As a developer, I am giving input to the code, right? What we can do, see, understand this thing. I could have also written maths is equal to 89, right? Or I can run this code. So when you write maths equal to 89, that you are fixing. This is called as hard code. You have already fixed that no matter what, that will be hard coded. Okay, by default, it will always take 89. But when you write maths equal to input, so in this case, what will happen? That whenever you run this code, it will take input in real time. Right? I will cover it later on. You cannot take list directly as input. So let's continue class. Next topic that we have to cover is typecasting. Typecasting basically means converting the data type of the data from one to another, provided that the data is compatible with the new data type. This is really important class. That whenever we're converting to another data type, you have to make sure that the data is compatible. Okay. So suppose class, let's say I have some integer with me x equal to, let's say, 12. Okay. Now I want to convert this variable into, let's say, float value. So what I can do, I can write here, let's say, some other variable y is equal to float of x. Y will become 12.0. X will still remain same. If you see type of x, it will show you integer. But if you see type of y, it will give you float. Similarly, suppose let's say you have some float variable. Suppose let's say there is f1 is equal to 12.391. Okay. So if we see type of f1, it will give you float. But suppose if a typecast is into integer, let's say f2 is equal to int of f1. So you can see f2 will become 12. So whenever you are typecasting a float data into integer, it will remove the decimal part of it. Okay. So if you see type of f2, it will give us integer. Okay. Similarly, you can suppose, let's say x is there. X is currently an integer. Okay. What we can do, we can typecast x into integer into string also. Okay. So suppose let's say sx is equal to str of x. So you can see sx will become string. So if I show you type of sx, it will give us string. Okay. So let me just quickly show you, give you how to typecast. For integer, we write int. Float ke liye this. If you convert into Boolean, there is bool. I will cover bool also. Don't worry. I will cover all of them one by one. Str ke liye this. Convert something into list. This is used. Convert something into tuple. Tuple is used. Convert something into dictionary. Dict is used. Convert something into set. Set is used. I think I have covered all of them. Okay. Now, suppose class. Let me give you an example. Suppose let's say s is equal to, I'm giving 64. Can anyone tell me what is the data type of this s variable currently? It is a string, right? Because quotes are there. Now, if I write here si is equal to int of s, what do you think will happen? Will it convert or not? Okay, it will convert. It will convert to 64C. If I see type of si, it will give us integer. I wrote here converting a data type of data from one to another, provided that the data is compatible with a new data type. Remember class, the data should be compatible. So here we have written 64. That is why we were able to convert that into integer. But suppose let's say I write s1 is equal to I. Okay, and then if I write here, let's say s2 is equal to int of s1. So can we convert s1 to integer? No. So here you can see it will throw error. So remember that whenever you're typecasting, the data should be compatible. No, Devasis, that will also throw error. Let me just quickly show you that also. Okay. X equal to int 1, 2, 3, T4. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4 can be converted, yes, but T cannot be converted, and that is a complete data. So if I run this code now, so it will throw error. See, that is single data, no? If I write 1, 2, 3, 4 only, that will work. See, 1, 2, 3, 4 will work. But 1, 2, 3, T, 4 will not. Got this, everyone? Class still here? Okay. So integer we have covered, float we have covered, string we have covered. Okay, now suppose let's say class complex number can, I think that is complex. See, we don't usually work on complex numbers, but I think let me work. Let me check once. Complex number I don't exactly remember, but suppose let's say x is there. Let's say we have some variable. Suppose let's say si is there. Si is 64, and if I write here complex si, so 64 plus 0 is 0. Got that? Got that class clear? Input the list. Okay. See, I mean, input the list will be covered later on because you cannot input a list directly. Okay, there is. Clear class till here, everyone? Okay, let me show you now. Suppose let's say we have some string with us. Let's say s is equal to list input. Does it require Senthil? That is one way of taking the list. There are multiple ways of taking the list. Once I cover loop now, I will cover that too. Don't worry. Okay, once I cover loop statements, that will be covered. Suppose we have a string with us. Now we know that we cannot convert a string to integer, obviously not with a float, not to a complex number. But what we can do, we can convert a string. See, if you remember class, string is basically whatever data type the string is, I divided the data types into two categories. Remember? So which category does a string comes in? String is immutable, yes. There is a indexable, yes. There is one more thing, collection, yes. So string is basically collection data types. String is a collection data type. If you remember, string is a collection of characters. So whenever we want to convert, see all the collections, whatever collections we have, all the collections can be converted from one to another. Okay, how? Suppose let's say we can convert a string into list. So ls is equal to list of s. So if I run this code, see. So HELLO, all the characters will be stored separately as separate elements inside a list. Clear class so far? Is it possible to take hello as one set of list? That you can store as list. No, not like this. Okay, that you can store separately as a list. L is equal to hello like this. That will work. Okay, now suppose let's say we have to convert this into a tuple. So let's say s is there. So I can write here st is equal to. I am just see. You can take any variable. Totally up to you. So tuple of s. So you can see st will become a tuple. Okay. Now suppose see. Now tell me one thing. Can we convert a string into a dictionary? Can we convert a string into into a dictionary? If you remember, dictionary is basically key value pair. No, it is not compatible, right? Because in case of dictionary, we need key value pair. So that is why we cannot convert. But we can convert this into a set. Okay, suppose let's say s is there. So I can write here s is equal to set of s. So now if you remember in set class, each and every element is unique. Okay, tuple and list mein list is mutable, tuple is immutable, Ramesh. Okay, you can see each and every element of a set is unique. So since there are two L, okay, so now here you can see it is only single L in case of set. Okay, similarly, let's say we have a list with us. Suppose I'm creating a list. Let's say hello, hi. What is set? Ajay, like you didn't cover, like uh, do one thing, the watch the recording of previous sessions once. Set is basically a data type. Okay, so now suppose let's say we have this list with us. Now if I want to convert this into a tuple, So I can simply write tuple of L. Okay, so I can write here LT. You can see this. Now suppose we can convert this into a list also. Sorry, it is already in list. You can convert this into a set also. Let's say ls is equal to set of L. ls. Clear class so far, everyone? 65. Here, what we are doing, there is a list. L is equal to hello, hi. There are two elements, and converting that list into a tuple. So here you can see square brackets basically means list, and round brackets basically means tuple. List is mutable, tuple is immutable. Got this class, everyone, or not? Now, we were talking about dictionary earlier. See, whenever we want to convert anything to dictionary, we need key value pair. So what we can do, suppose I have a list with me, okay, and inside that this is called as a nested list. When we create a list inside a list, now that is called as a nested list. Suppose let's say I'm creating a list 1, 2. Okay, comma another list, let's say maybe 2, 4. Another list, let's say 3, 9. Okay, another list, let's say 4, 16. So what I can do, if I convert this into a tuple, that will be a tuple simply, right? But what I can do, if I convert this into a dictionary, L is there, I will write DL is equal to dict of L. So what will happen now? Since the data that is present in this list, okay, is paired. Here you can see this data is paired. 1, 2, two things are there. 2, 4, two things are there. So since the data is paired, that is why we can convert it into a dictionary. So automatically Python will typecast like this. Whatever pairs are present, okay, they will be taken as one key value pair. Got this class, everyone? See, 1, 2 is there. So 1, 2, key value pair. 2, 4 got converted to 2, 4. If 3 are present, no, then it will throw error. Let me show you that also. Suppose, let's say, if in any one of them, let's say 3, 9, 8. So here you can see it will throw error. Dictionary update sequence element has number 2 has length 3, 2 is required. Yes, now we can convert this dictionary into a list also. Let's say DL is there. Okay, so I can convert this dictionary into a list. List is equal to list of DL. So now what will happen whenever you write simply list of DL, it will only take the keys of a dictionary. By default, only the keys will be taken into the list. But suppose, let's say, I'm storing this as DLK is equal to DL. But suppose, let's say if I write here DL is equal to, I want to convert the entire dictionary. So in that case, what we'll have to do? We have to write list of DL dot items. If you remember class, a key value pair inside a dictionary, a single key value pair is termed as item. Do you remember this class? How do you remember items? Item of a dictionary, right? Okay. So if you have to write DL dot items, then in that case it will take the entire. So this is the case. Clear class to here? Whenever you're converting a dictionary into a list, so by default, it will only take the, see, whenever you're typecasting, let me again say this, whenever you want to typecast a dictionary into a list, in that case, it will only take the keys of the dictionary to create the list. Here, you can see, in case of dictionary DL, 1, 2, 3, 4 is there, right? 1 is the key here, 2, 3, 4. These 4 are keys, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. When we type passing to list, it will only take the keys of the dictionary. Not the first element, only the keys. For each and every item. First item, 1. Second item, 2. Third item, 3. Fourth item, 4. It is only taking the keys. Clear class so far? Item basically means this a single key value pair is called as item of a dictionary. 2:4 is a single item. 3:9 is a single item. Okay. So I think I have covered most of them. One that is left is your Boolean. Okay. So let's see Boolean also quickly. Suppose let's say class. Notice one thing. If I am storing x is equal to 12, and if I write here, let's say bx is equal to whole of x. So here you can see it is giving us true. Right? So what will happen when we talk about Boolean? So Boolean basically means true or false. That's it. Boolean basically means true or false. So what will happen in this case is that x equal to 12. Now suppose whenever in case of integer I am saying, I will talk about all of them one by one. But in case of integer, if you are converting a 0, okay, that means if I write bool of 0 directly, so you can see it will give us a false. But apart from 0, if we give anything at all, let's say bool of minus 85, sorry, bool of minus 85, it will give us a true. Bool of 100, true. So only bool of 0 will give us a false. Similarly, I am writing all of them. Bool of 0, bool of 0.0, basically float value. Okay. Bool of bool of 0 plus 0j, that is complex number. Bool of empty string, if the string is empty. See, empty quotes, there is nothing inside the quotes, no? This is empty string. Okay. Bool of empty list, this is called as empty list. Bool of empty tuple, this is called as empty tuple. Bool of empty dictionary. And bool of empty set. Empty set is created like this. Okay, there is no direct way to create an empty set. For creating an empty set, we have to write SCT followed by parenthesis. So all of these things, class, all of them will give a false value. But anything apart from these values will give a true. See, suppose let's say if I write bool of 0.000001, it will give a true value. But if I write bool of 0.0, it will give a false. Bool of hello will give us true. Bool of hi will give us true. But if I write here bool of empty string, it will give us a false. Clear class, everyone? Because there is no data, na? When we talk about integer, so 0 means nothing, right? In case of integer, 0 basically means empty data. Similarly, in case of string, or if you notice in all of them, actually there is no data, na? So whenever there is no data and you type pass that into a Boolean, it will give you a false value. Okay, let me just quickly take the doubts because this is the last thing. Okay, let me just quickly take the doubts. Sure, Ankit. Nested list. It was this. Okay, after converting this. See what happens now, Sindhu. Nice observation, by the way. See, when we were converting a list into a dictionary, okay. So see, this was a nested list, right? I told you this is a nested list, basically list inside a list. Okay, but when we converted a dictionary back into a list, so it became this is called as this became list of tuples. Okay, why? Because see, understand this in this manner. When initially it was present in a list, so you can obviously add some data from your end. No? Python doesn't know whether you want to convert that into a dictionary later on or not. So it was storing that into a list format because you stored that, because you created a list out of it. But suppose later on, when we converted it into a dictionary, okay, and then we're converting from back from dictionary into a list. So first thing, Python doesn't know that that particular dictionary was created from a list. That means as soon as you have already created, as soon as you create a dictionary, okay, so previous connection from which the dictionary was created from will get lost. There is no connection between this DL and this list once the dictionary is created. Are you getting this, Hindu? Once the dictionary is created, there is no connection between dictionary and list. Okay, so there is no concept of memory in Python. Memory in the sense, I won't say memory, but history. There is no concept of history in Python. Ki, acha, pehle, like it used to happen, it happened like that in the past. So there is no concept of that. Okay, so when you're again typecasting that into a list, so Python will do what? Since we are converting items, so items will always get converted into a tuple. Because item to do ही होंगे. In an item there will be pair only, na? Are you getting this? Item will always be a pair. Okay, there is, so if you want to modify it, you can do it separately. There is separate, you have to write a separate code for that. But by default, Python will convert it into a tuple. Each and every item individually will be converted into a tuple. Okay, and all those tuples will be stored inside a list since we have converted that into a list here. But suppose if I do the same thing here and I write tuple, what will become? Tuple of tuples, or you can say nested tuple. Got this class, everyone? For conversion, there is only one rule. That whatever you're converting, the data should be compatible. That's the only rule. Okay, so that is all about the typecasting class. I hope all of you understood till here. How can you convert a listable set to a string? Asked earlier to, is it possible? Yes, Rohit. You can convert it into a string also. Suppose let's say you have a list with you, but there is no point of doing it. Let me show you. Suppose, let's say, let me create a list. L is equal to 2, 5, 9, 1, 4. Let's say this list we have. And if I write here str, ls is equal to str of L. You can see what will happen. No? Whenever you convert anything into a string, so Python will do what? Let me write it down. Converting any data type to a string will just put quotes around the complete data. Okay, so here you can see 25914. Now, why do we do, like, why there is no point of doing this actually in the first place? Let me show you that. See, ls is there, right? Now, if I write here ls of 0, so what do you think will come? Ls of 0. What ideally it should give us? it will give us open bracket, opening bracket. Is there any point of doing this now, Rohit? No, no. So you can convert. See, one thing that is true for string only. Okay, that any data type, no matter which, every data type, each and every data type can be converted into a string. Okay, but there is no need in some cases. Like here, converting a list into a string doesn't make sense. That you can do, yes, obviously. Suppose you have a string with you, s is equal to hello. But there is one problem with that. If you convert into a set now, set in case of set is unordered collection. Set is unordered collection. So the order of the characters might change. Let me show you. S1 is equal to set of S. This is your S1. And then I will write here S2 is equal to str of see what like this. So there is no point actually. Again, it will put quotes on the outside. You can do it, but there is no point. EHLO. Set is unordered collection, Ajay. Set is an unordered collection. I think I showed you in earlier session also. First thing, set is unordered. Second thing, that each and every element of a set is unique. So since there are two L, it will remove one L. Is it clear, everyone, so far? Real time use case of what, Surajit? Which one exactly you are asking? Our set is unordered. See, let me show you some examples. Whatever we have covered so far, let me show you some examples. Suppose, let's say, we have suppose I want to, I have some mathematics marks. I want to create, I want to take different percentages and I want to add them together. So what I will do, I will write a math is equal to int input. See, here I am typecasting into integer. Why? Because the input that we are getting in string format and that we want it in integer. Or one more thing that you can do, in float format also. Totally up to you, depending on what type of data you're getting. If you're getting whole numbers, then take integer. If you're getting decimal numbers also, then you can take float. So enter. That's marks. Suppose let's take three subjects: physics, chemistry, maths. Yeah. Okay. Total is equal to math. Since they're present in float format, so we can obviously add them. Physics plus chem. So print. Again, calculate the percentage also. Percentage is equal to total divided by 300 into 100. Float plus integer is also possible, yes. Print percentage. So mathematics marks 88, physics marks 91, chemistry marks 95. So that's the percentage. Got this, class, everyone? Is there any doubt in whatever we have covered so far? How to round off the percentage value? For rounding off, now there is a function available, round. Suppose let's say this is a percentage variable. So you can do one thing, round. Let's say r percentage. Another variable I'm creating, round. So this will become 91. Or you can control also. Suppose let's say you want to fill 2 decimal place. So comma 2. So 91.33. Got this? 2 basically means till 2 decimal place. Star symbol basically Amar means that the cell is currently running. So do one thing, in whichever cell you're getting the star now, click on that cell and then press the stop button. And then rerun the code, whichever code you want to run. Star basically means, let me show you. Suppose here in this case, if I run this code, you can see a star in the class. Can you see a star in the cell here? So that is your basically, that star basically represents that this particular cell is still running. So if you want to remove that star, either complete the code, complete the running, or what you can do is just keep the stop button. So you can see it will stop the code. Keyword enter. Rerun the code. Got that? Siddharth, tell me one thing. Have you gone through previous sessions? Like, do you revise whatever whatever I've covered so far? This is for everyone class because I'm asking this reason being I got some queries in the last session. After that, the team informed me about this. Okay, so some of you were saying that the session is going a little bit fast. Okay, so I can slow down a little bit. Okay, but what will happen now if I slow down like by a factor that you want me to, the class will become a lot boring. First thing. Second thing is you will not understand whatever I'm covering. Do one thing. If you're not, first watch whatever I'm covering, ask doubts. Wherever you get stuck, wherever you're not able to understand, ask me doubts. I will cover it multiple times. Not an issue. So Sindhu, I will in the starting only I asked now if you have any doubts or not. In every session in the starting only, I always ask if you have any doubts or not from previous session. Today also I asked. So I got only, I think, 2 doubts only. I covered them. And then I started the session. Okay. So first, that is the first thing. Second thing, class, that if you're facing any problem during the class, be it whatever, inform me. Let me know if you're facing any problem. Because at the end of every session, I ask you that how was the session, if you're getting any problem or not, or all those things. Okay, so that is there. So if you have any problem, then tell me at the end or maybe in the starting, whenever you're comfortable. Getting this everyone class? And since this is one thing, those who are coming from non-technical background now, I would recommend one thing to all of you, please make sure that at least on Saturday, I'm not say asking this to do this on Sunday, at least on Saturday, revise your notes before coming to the class. Either maybe in the Friday evening or Saturday morning, if you can revise before the class, please do that. Because see, this problem we majorly face in weekend batches. Why? Because there is an entire like gap of 1 week. Are you getting this class, everyone? Just most of you forget what was covered in the last session. Okay, so revise. So that will help you. I will slow down. Okay, I will slow down. Don't worry. Little bit. Okay, and let me know if you feel that I will slow down a little bit more. No, Siddharth, see, understand this. Right now, since like, when you say detailing, okay, so detailing basically means that you want me to cover the exam, like applications also. Right now, I'm covering ABCD. So I cannot show you very, like, uh, real life examples. I can show you some basic examples that, okay, for example, like I showed here, okay, this is how we use typecasting. Okay, but for some of them, I cannot show you the real life examples. Why? Because the locations, not locations, the places where we used that particular concept has not been covered yet. Suppose, let's say, if you remember, I covered that thing, and operator, that and operator or operator. At that time, I was not able to give you any example. But when we covered the condition statements later on, so I showed you how and or operators are used. Are you getting this? So for since we are starting, so for some concepts at least you need to understand that I cannot show you the application at that time. Okay, but you need to understand the concept. Okay, if you are not able to understand, let me know. Okay, application, don't worry. Each and I will show you the application of each and every topic sooner or later for each and everything. Got that? I hope that is fine with everyone. Sure, Ankit. Okay, first thing. Second thing, today someone earlier said that today's session was somewhat irregular in the starting. Let me tell you the reason. What happened now? I like I applied for Wi-Fi. Okay, fiber. Okay, so what happened? Like the the visit of the for the installation was getting delayed for like last 3 days. Okay, like some like there was a power cut, then there was some problem somewhere, then later on there was something else. Yesterday the person was not available. So from last 3 days I was waiting for the Wi-Fi to get installed, and at today at 8:30 a.m. I got the call. He will come, like he was coming at 9 a.m. So I thought it will hardly take 15 minutes. But he, like as soon as I clicked on Zoom, okay, I started the class, I got the call that he was already on door. He was already there at my door. Getting this class, everyone. So that is why in the starting I was getting that problem, because he was asking me about the OTP, about the password and multiple things to for the installation part. So that is why I was getting problem in the starting. But yes, I think now it is continuous now class. Now you're not facing that problem. That is what I am asking. That is why I am explaining that was the issue in the starting. But yes, I will make sure that won't happen again. I was waiting for 3 days. That is why I asked him to come. Okay, because I was facing right now also I'm using my mobile data. So that's there. Ankit, I can see your doubts, but you have not asked anything. Okay, so class, like, do you need like around 5 minutes to like work on whatever I've covered? You want to practice that in your system as well, or do you want me to start with the next topic? Okay, take 5 minutes. It is 10:50. Take 5 minutes, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, whatever. Okay, and like just cover, like write it down or practice. Okay. Dictionary to list and dictionary to tuple. Dictionary to list. Okay. So suppose let's say I have a dictionary with me. I'm creating a dictionary separately. Name colon, let's say someone. Okay, then 2 colon, let's say 45. I'm just storing random data right now. Hi colon, let's say by. Okay, this is here. This we have this dictionary with us. Now, if we directly convert this dictionary, if I write here, let's say list. I'm not showing it any variable. I'm directly showing you list of D. So what will happen now? By default, it will only take the keys of a dictionary to convert it into a list. You can see it is taking name. From here it is taking 2, and from here it is taking high. It is only taking the keys of the dictionary. But if you want to convert the entire dictionary, basically key value pairs completely, so for that what you have to do, you have to write list of D dot items. So you can see name, comma, someone, 2, comma, 45, high, comma, by. Similarly, if you want, see, it is getting a list here, you can see it is getting square brackets. Same thing can be done into tuple also. Just get tuple. Got this, Sushant? See, because understand this here, this is a key value pair. It is a pair, right? So since it is already a pair, so we cannot remove or we cannot add anything else. Okay, so in essence, it is immutable. Since it is already a pair, so you cannot add anything or you cannot remove anything. So by default, it is acting, okay, as immutable data. Immutable means it cannot be modified. So since it is acting, it is working as immutable data. So Python will by default store it inside in a tuple. Vandana, that will be covered later on. Plus, how to take list as input from the user, I will cover that later on because you cannot take list directly. There are different functions available for doing that. Taking list directly, taking list or tuple or dictionary or set directly as input cannot be done using input function. Ankit, you can ask me here only in the chat because I don't have an option to unmute. Okay, so you can ask here in the chat itself if it is fine. Plus, those who are like having this thing now, ask, talk to the team once, okay, about this. If you have any doubts, please ask in the chat. I will make sure to answer all of them. Right, I want to check if a number is even or odd, where number is taken as input. Okay, Senthil, what exactly your doubt is here? Write a program. Okay, you have written one code here. N equal to 20, where number is taken as input. Totally up to you, Senthil. See, I don't take care about where the number is coming from. Okay, I just care about the logic. Okay, totally up to you. You can make it static also, or you can take it as input also. Any other doubt, class, in whatever we have covered so far? Senthil, another assignment for today's class. If we are able to complete the loop part, yes, then I will share one assignment with you. If we are able to complete the loop, I think I will give you assignment tomorrow, not today. Equilateral triangle. Okay, equilateral triangle. Mein, the last question it was there in the assignment. And if you want to check using the sides of triangle to tell if it is equilateral triangle or not. Okay, so you can do one thing. You can take three inputs from the user. Okay, that are sides. You can take three sides: S1, S2, S3. Okay, and if all the sides are equal, then yes, it is an equilateral triangle. If the sides are not same, the length of the sides is not same, then it is not equilateral. S1, S2, S3. Take three sides from the user as input. Third last is vowel or not. Okay, you can use indexing. Kunal, you can use indexing for that. If you want to access a third last element, suppose let's say I'm giving an example. I'm not showing you the answer. I'm just giving a hint. S equal to hello. So if I want to see the third last number, so I can write here S minus 3. It will give me a third last character. Lohit, I will give me, I think, 2 days, 2, 3 days. I will make some file and I will share for the same. Now, shall I start with the next topic now? So most of the things that we cover in coding, that is pure mathematics only. Okay, one thing, class, see, vowel canal. Let me just show you one thing because I think most of you will write some other code in that. See, suppose let's say I'm giving a question, write a program to check if a character is vowel or not. Okay. Now there are two ways of working on this question. Okay. First way, okay. Let's check character from the user. Okay. Input, enter a character. Okay, we have taken the character as input from the user. Now, what we can do, we can write here if name equal to a. Right? It can be a or name nahi char, or char equal to e, or char equal to I, or char equal to a e I o, or char equal to u. Okay, you can take similarly you can take the uppercase also, or char equal to a, and so on. Okay, all of them you can write down. If any of this C, if you remember the or operator, what happens? Any one of the conditions should be true. Any one of the conditions should be true. Okay, so if suppose let's say I'm giving input as let's say W, input let's say it's W. So none of them will be true, right? None of them will be true, right? Okay, so in that case, or operator will give us a false. But suppose let's say I enter, so what will happen? This first condition will be false, second will be false, third will be false, fourth will be true. So what will happen? The output of the entire or operators will be true, and I will write it print. I can write it down like this: char is a vowel, else char is not a vowel. Suppose now I enter O, so you can see it is saying O is a vowel. Similarly, if I write here W, EW is not a vowel. Is everyone getting this class? Getting this code? So obviously we'll have to write the code for that now also. Ajay, I told you right here, or char equal to E, or char equal to AE, I, and so all of them. Yes, it is case sensitive. Python is a case sensitive language. Or char, or char equal to AEI O. See, if I write capital O, it will give you O as a vowel. Okay. Now, there is one more thing that can be done. There are two ways. Like I said, there are two ways. Hi, Imran, you can use sky values also here also. There are three ways actually using the sky value thing also. I have not covered it yet. Now, second option that is available is what you can do, class. You will take input from the user. Then, see, first problem, understand the problem first. You have to check if the character is a vowel. Now, tell me one thing: does Python know Python knows what a vowel is, or does Python know what a vowel is? No, no. Python is a like language concept, right? Like English language concept, right? Python will not know about that, right? So what you can do, there is one thing that we can do. You can write here vowel, and tell. We can inform Python that okay, when we say vowel, so vowel is equal to A E I O U, A E I O U. We will create a string of all of them. Now string is a collection, remember, string is a collection. Now, in a collection, there is a particular operator that can be used, that is basically your membership operator. What we can do here, I can write if char in vowel followed by a column and then all these things. Getting the logic difference class. Here we are using OR operator. Here we are using membership operator. So we are checking if the input character that we are getting from the user, if that character is present inside this vowel or not. Because if I write here, let's say 8, it will give me 8 is not a vowel. If I write here capital A is a vowel. Clear everyone?